Once a stacked Orioles rotation with too much competition for the opening day roster has some decisions to make. O's pitcher Kyle Bradish, his first start of the season ended early last night in Texas when he took 104 miles per hour. A comebacker off his leg/foot left the game. X-rays were negative, but it forced Brandon Hyde to use today's starter Tyler Wells last night, who was spectacular in the O's win, 5 hitless innings of relief. So that move bumped up Kyle Gibson a day, who is starting tonight against the Rangers. Tomorrow's starter, TBD. Well, before Lamar Jackson let us know he requested a trade a month ago, we have discussed a number of potential suitors to land the Ravens MVP quarterback if he doesn't play this season under the tag for the Ravens and they move him for 2 first-rounders. The obvious quarterback-needy teams are the Colts, Texans, Panthers, and Jets. All but New York may use draft picks for their solutions. Then there's the player trade route. Teams like New England and Tennessee I've mentioned. Reportedly, the Patriots are shopping Mac Jones, and it was head coach Bill Belichick doing so at the league meeting last week. We will hear from Ravens GM Eric DeCosta tomorrow for their pre-draft presser. Jackson's going to be a topic, and rightfully so, because if they plan to grant him his wish and trade, might want to get on that before they're on the clock to land picks and potentially draft a quarterback. Right now, the Ravens do not have a lot of draft capital. 5 total picks, 22nd in the first, nothing in the second, 1 in each rounds 3 through 6. Orioles game 2 at Texas. That is tonight when Sports Unlimited continues.
I'll see. I verified it. All right, go ahead and take a look at what we've got outside as we head into our extended forecast. We're going to have those temperatures that are going to be running all into the 80s the next several days. You can see they're right around 80, 85 degrees into our Wednesday, Thursday. Now, there is a weather alert day there on Thursday for the potential of getting some storms in time for the O's game. Then on Friday, we're at 66, 62, near normal temperatures for Saturday, sunshine back for Sunday, 64 for Easter, and back up near 70 into early next week.
Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6, a triple shooting in Baltimore injures 2 teens. What surveillance footage shows about the violent incident. New tonight, a return of the military draft, why concerns over national security are reigniting that battle.
Massive flames erupting at this hour in Baltimore County. What we're learning about a major brush fire in Owings Mills and who's being forced to evacuate. President Trump pleads not guilty in his criminal indictment, facing 34 felony charges. While we await comment from the president, the prosecutor explains why he pursued him. Plus, a deadly ending to the manhunt for Roy McGrath, how federal agents were able to track him down in Tennessee.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. We're actually following a pair of breaking stories tonight at 6, including the new developments in former President Trump's indictment. But we are going to begin with this major brush fire in Owings Mills. Look at those flames rising so high in the sky. It's happening in Owings Mills. Baltimore County firefighters battling the blaze near Soldiers Delight Natural Environmental Area. An evacuation order is in place for 29 homes near this fire, as fire officials say the flames are not contained. It's an 8-alarm fire. Franklin High School is the evacuation site. They're calling the area a non-hydrant area. And that's causing trouble fighting those flames. This is in the middle of a reserve and a preserve, a wooded area that doesn't have streets with water access. Stay with Fox 45 News as we continue to follow this breaking news. We'll update you throughout this newscast, of course, online and on the news at 10 tonight. Well, our other breaking story tonight, former President Donald Trump pleading not guilty in his criminal indictment. Trump appeared in a New York City courtroom this afternoon. Right now, you have a live look at the Palm Beach International Airport. Trump's private jet is in the air and his arrival is expected in about an hour. After learning he is facing 34 felony charges related to an alleged hush money scheme involving adult film actress Stormy Daniels during the 2016 presidential campaign. Specifically, the indictment accuses Trump of directing 3 different hush money payments to cover up alleged affairs. Trump is expected to address his supporters tonight at Mar-a-Lago. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg explaining the charges just a short time ago.
He cannot simply say that the payments were a reimbursement for Mr. Cohen's payments to Stormy Daniels. To do so, to make that true statement, would have been to admit a crime. So instead, Mr. Trump said that he was paying Mr. Cohen for fictitious legal services in 2017 to cover up actual crime committed the prior year.
Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman digging through the charges and today's developments. He's going to join us live at 6:15 for an update. We are tracking some new details in the deadly end to a 3-week manhunt for Roy McGrath, the former Hogan chief of staff, caught in what the FBI calls an agent-involved shooting near Knoxville, Tennessee. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell explains how federal officials were able to track him down.
Sources say this agent-involved shooting began as a traffic stop after agents located Roy McGrath in Knoxville, Tennessee, by tracking a cell phone he was using. His death now the focus of the FBI's investigation.
A 3-week manhunt for former Governor Larry Hogan's ex-chief of staff ending in an agent-involved shooting and Roy McGrath's death in Tennessee. Sources detailing agents tracked McGrath's cell phone to a shopping plaza off Interstate 75 southwest of Knoxville, Tennessee yesterday evening. And it was here where agents attempted a traffic stop. This video showing agents surrounding an Escalade with its passenger side window shattered. Exactly what transpired during this traffic stop, the FBI not yet releasing. But the agency confirming McGrath sustained a life-threatening injury during his arrest and was later pronounced dead at an area hospital. The agent-involved shooting now under investigation. An FBI spokesperson writing, "The review will carefully examine the circumstances of the shooting and collect all relevant evidence from the scene."
I just believed it was an incredibly tragic ending to 3 weeks of uncertainty.
Attorney Joe Murtha was representing McGrath in his federal trial. McGrath had been indicted on charges including theft, wire fraud, and for falsifying records. According to court documents, while serving as Hogan's chief of staff, McGrath stole a total of more than $270,000 from the state, including a severance package Hogan says he never approved. McGrath went on the run the morning of his trial, triggering this 3-week manhunt, which included a raid of the home he and his wife shared in Naples, Florida. Martha says he's spoken with McGrath's wife since news of his death.
And she's obviously just incredibly saddened and has no idea how all this happened in 3 short weeks.
Also, during the manhunt, the release of 2 tell-all books, the books not published under McGrath's name, but claim Hogan approved the severance package that was at the center of McGrath's indictment. When asked, Martha not commenting on the books, rather the incident as a whole.
We may never understand why Roy made the decisions that he did. Waiting to hear from the FBI in regard to the substance of the investigation.
I asked the FBI if the agency is exploring the possibility McGrath took his own life. A spokesperson wouldn't comment further, saying the case remains under investigation. Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Alexa, thank you. April is off to a violent start in Baltimore, and tonight Fox 45 News has obtained new surveillance video of a triple shooting in Park Heights. 2 teens were injured in last night's shooting. Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor details the latest incidents highlighting the juvenile violence crisis.
Yeah, less than a week in, and already Baltimore City's rise in youth crime has made its mark on the month of April. Last night alone, there were 3 teens that were shot, one of them killed in 2 separate incidents. Despite the close proximity to Patterson Park, a popular place where those of all ages come to enjoy the outdoors.
After a certain time of day, I don't bring my dog out.
Brandon Hart says the sounds of gunshots ring out almost daily.
No, it doesn't surprise nor affect me because it happens all the time.
The latest deadly shooting happening Monday, just blocks from Hart's home on East Pratt Street. According to police, an 18-year-old killed around 9 p.m.
It just becomes such a norm.
And just 4 hours earlier, across town at a gas station in Park Heights, more young lives struck by gun violence. Surveillance video capturing the victims being carried off into a car, then rushed to the hospital. Police say in total 3 people were shot, 2 of them teens, ages 16 and 17.
You don't get a chance to really, mourn the person that it happened to on Monday because on Tuesday you're dealing with another one.
Even with homicides and shootings down compared to this time last year, Baltimore City's young people aren't being spared. In fact, juvenile crime is spiking. Just over 3 months into 2023, and already 6 juveniles have been killed, the same amount of teens killed in all of 2020, that number doubling in 2021 and rising to 22 killed in 2022, one of the worst years for juvenile gun violence on record.
You think that's going to get better every year, but it doesn't. It gets worse.
A troubling trend Hart fears won't change until city and state leaders make changes to how they crack down on crime.
I think it just needs to be stricter gun laws, and I think that we as parents need to raise our kids better.
Police say the 2 teens shot at the Park Heights gas station are both now in stable condition. However, no arrests have been made in either incident. In Baltimore City, Rebecca Pryor, Fox 45 News.
Rebecca, thank you. Plans to address crime at the state level gaining little traction in Annapolis right now with just 6 days left in this year's legislative session. 3 bills are on the table which would increase fines and prison time for gun crimes, making theft of any handgun a felony, and increase maximum prison time from 3 to 5 years for those 21 years of age and older convicted of possessing a gun illegally. Now, the latter is being pushed by Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates.
I've gone to too many funerals. I've gone to too many and watched too many people and young boys and young men and young kids and young ladies who look like me and you that are dying and losing their life.
I understand the wraparound services, and I agree with that. And I don't want to see mass incarceration, but we will see accountability.
Well, Fox 45 News is making your voice heard. Scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to our website, where we put together a list of email addresses and phone numbers for your lawmakers in Maryland. That includes the House Speaker and Senate President.
Coming up, continuing coverage of former President Trump's indictment as he is set to return to West Palm Beach tonight. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman standing by with a live update.
And the O's home opener, it's scheduled to happen on Thursday, but the weather is not looking like it's going to cooperate. Temperatures falling from around 80 into the 70s. That looks good, but look at the showers and storms. I'm going to let you know if there's going to be any potential of severe weather. It's in my Weather Authority forecast.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Fox 45 News takes you back to that. Fox 45 News takes you back to that breaking news. This brush fire in Owings Mills. More than 24 homes near Soldiers Delight Natural Environmental Area have been evacuated because of a massive fire in this wooded area. In fact, firefighters tell us a part of the park hard to reach because there are no hydrants in this area. Now, let me share with you, my daughters and I have hiked in this area, so I'm really familiar with it. Here's what I can tell you. This is Deer Park Road, all right? So imagine, and I really didn't realize this until I looked at our map, that Deer Park is basically north and south. If the Ravens headquarters, which is off of Deer Park, is behind you, the affected area is to the north, right? And I don't know if I can zoom in on this map. I can't. So imagine Liberty Road is to your south, and ahead of you is Berryman's Lane. Berryman's Lane will take you out to Reisterstown Road, which is north Reisterstown Road, and to the south is Liberty Road and also Marriottsville Road. That's the area of Randallstown. So we're talking about an area right there. If you go north of Ravens headquarters, right here, you've got a office of the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, and you can go hike in Soldiers Delight. Just north of their office is the Serpentine Trail and all of the big trails of Soldiers Delight. In fact, I told Mary there's a beautiful vista out here where you can see directly into Carroll County. So So, of course, we're very concerned about these homes that have had to be evacuated in the area. And again, I believe Franklin High School is a rallying point. But this is an amazing natural resource. Maryland is known for its mountains and, of course, its beaches. But Maryland has a number of places where people like to go and hike. And this is a hugely popular area. It's not full of a lot of hills or difficult areas to hike, but it's really a beautiful area right here off of Deer Park. Soldier's Delight. Fox 45 is, of course, going to stay on top of this breaking story because this fire has yet to be contained. Jonathan?
All right, and Kai, right now on the Fox Triplecast, you see on the Mile 1 Taos cam, the Toyota Eastern Harbor sky cam, a little bit of hazy sun, and I zoomed in on the HD radar. You could see there right around Deer Park Road what appears to be showers. Well, you can see, no, the blue sky, there are no rain showers anywhere. In fact, I believe that is some of the smoke plume from that large fire on Deer Park Road, and you see it's kind of forming and reforming in the same place. So pretty interesting to actually see that there on the radar. Right now on the Mile 1 Towson cam, we've got a temperature at 78 degrees, winds out of the south-southeast at about 11, humidity at 50%. Dew points are right now in the mid to upper 50s. So a little almost kind of muggy. So hopefully that's going to help things with that fire as the humidity levels are beginning to come up a bit. It's been bone dry, but the warm temperatures aren't going to help with mid to upper 70s to near 80, hit a high of 80 over at BWI this afternoon. We're at 78 right now. The temperature at 78 Columbia, 83 at Laurel, a little cooler near the bay, where the bay temperatures in the 40s and 50s are helping to hold those temperatures down right around Annapolis. Otherwise, temperatures are running anywhere between about 8 to 15 degrees warmer than they were just 24 hours ago. Makes it 78 here in Baltimore, 79 up at Westminster, 79 at Gaithersburg, low to mid 80s. We actually had 84 a couple hours ago up at Cumberland. We're now at 82 and 72 up at Elevation in Oakland, not too far from Wisp ski area. Temperatures all in the low to mid 80s, basically from Baltimore south and west until you get right near the water. You work your way north. Poor Boston out of this, 48 degrees, and then you get colder as you head up into New England. And that's where the colder air is situated. Again, that little smoke plume that we were talking about right around Reisterstown and Owings Mills. But outside of that on the radar, there isn't too much going on. Let's go ahead and we can zoom out just a bit. Let's pop that. You can see that things are nice and clear and quiet across the remainder of the state of Maryland. As we zoom out even further, starts getting more active here out to our west. That's our next weather maker with high wind watches, even some tornado watches, wind advisories. This mess is moving eastbound, could get here just in time for Thursday. Warm front moving to our north. That's allowing in those temperatures in the 80s today and tomorrow and probably Thursday too. But unfortunately by Thursday, it's this that moves in. Then cooler weather behind that heading into the Easter holiday weekend. Now, again, the timing here, about as bad as it can get for the Orioles home opener on Thursday. We're going to have to dodge some pretty strong storms, I think, with a marginal risk of severe weather. And the Storm Prediction Center said there is a possibility. They put a special note on their discussion that this could be upped, if you will, to a slight risk at least of severe weather as we head a little bit closer. But large hail and gusty winds, the biggest threat as this moves closer into the day on Thursday. You see there Thursday afternoon, the rain and storms on the doorstep. I've got your exclusive 10-day forecast, going to let you know when the storms get in, when they get out, and how it looks all the way into next week in a couple of minutes.
Well, we continue to follow the historic indictment of former President Donald Trump, the first former or current president to be criminally indicted. Chief political correspondent Scott Thuman joins us live. And Scott, we know Trump pleaded not guilty today. What comes next for the former president?
Yeah, Mary and Kai, what happens next is going to be a lot of filing by motions by the president's defense team, presumably some to try and get this case dismissed. But barring that not happening, it means that we're going to have a lot of back and forth legally between now and at least December 4th. That is the next scheduled hearing, although Trump's attorneys have already argued that he shouldn't have to be present in person because of the logistics and security concerns of getting him back and forth. As for a trial, experts have been telling us for a while that we shouldn't expect this to wrap up in 2023, that it could very well go into 2024. And indeed, the conversations today in court indicated that the prosecution would like this to go to trial in January of next year. However, the defense pushing for it to be in the spring.
And two quick questions. We heard that Trump maybe was going to ask for a change of venue. And then also your thoughts on what you heard from Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg after the indictment. What struck you that stood out from that news conference?
Yeah, so as for the push of a change of venue, there have been people all along on Trump's team who have said that he can't get a fair trial in a place like Manhattan, that he would have to leave and go to another borough where there's a greater chance of having people who didn't vote against him in the previous election. They're talking about the polling results there and how it's a very Democratic stronghold, and that they think that would also be reflected in any sort of jury decision regarding his fate. As for what we heard from District Attorney Alvin Bragg, one thing that he continued to harp on was that this is a crime that his office prosecutes all the time for plenty of people, and so there's no reason that being the president, or in this case a former president, should absolve someone from that same responsibility, the same accountability, the same potential punishment. But it was also interesting what we learned in this affidavit was that when it came to a couple of these instances of alleged hush payments, that they came with an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and that essentially tells someone that they agree, if accepting money, to be quiet for a certain term. And in this particular case, that two of those people were told that their non-disclosure agreement ended once he became president. And again, that would reflect what the district attorney has said all along, that this was intended, a conspiracy to suppress bad stories or bad press that Trump would have faced when trying to win the White House in 2016.
Of course, we're going to hear from the former president tonight from Mar-a-Lago. Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman in D.C., thank you for joining us with an update. We appreciate it.
You got it, Mary.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
After some large hail-producing storms in Hale County, Alabama yesterday, a perfect rainbow was spotted along with a faint secondary bow. Note the colors in the secondary are always reversed. And winter just won't end in Utah. An historic April storm happened last night. West Jordan was waking up today to 2 to 3 foot snow drifts.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Maryland homeowners and renters, listen up. Tax credit applications are now available online. The program saved Marylanders more than $58 million last year, setting